Okay, good. So good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, so we'll continue our data career masterclass this morning. And we're talking about building and presenting your data portfolio. We have talked about portfolio yesterday, and why do we need to have a portfolio? I mean, what's the importance of a portfolio? Why is it necessary? So basically, the whole concept of portfolio is you are trying to let hire managers know that you are capable, that you have some skill sets that's very, very important that they know about you. You have some skill set that's very important they know about you. Real world projects. And this will also help hiring managers evaluate your problem-solving skills. How do you pay attention to details? It will assist the hiring managers in doing things like that, right? So basically, the whole concept of your portfolio, you want to prove things that you cannot put, or things that you have claimed on your resume. You want to prove it to the whole world that, yes, I can actually do this. I can actually do this. That's the whole concept. That the things I said I can do in my resume, they are truly things that I can do. Am I communicating? They are truly things that I can do on my own. And that's why it's very, very important that we understand the concept of portfolio. Okay, so now, what are those things that what are those portfolio should contain? What are those things? Basically, we are looking at 4 things that will make your portfolio stand out. Documentation, business impact, business impact. So some people are, okay, let me mute all participants. Okay,
She's muted, sir.
Okay, thanks a lot, Aisha. Okay, so documentation, you want to see how you have a clear problem statement, the methodology, method you're going to use, or you have used, and what are those outcomes. Want to see the impact of what you have done. I mean, what's the value of the analysis? Why did you have to do that? What's the value? What's there? What's the decision making that you are pointing out? What are the insights that you are pointing out? So for technicality, we are looking at how you're able to put up a structured code. And in case where the data is growing, what are the scalability plans that you have? For example, if you look at the banking sector, look at the way the new entrants, the cloud-based bank, the banks without borders, the banks without buildings, the banks with very limited staff. You can imagine how efficient they are compared with the banks with the high-rise headquarters, with branches scattered all over the place. I'm sure many of us now, we hardly use our primary account, our primary banking account. Is that not true?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating a lot of time. You make a transaction, it takes forever for you to get notification and stuff like that. Because the big banks, many of them were using physical infrastructure, and a whole lot of technicalities can be involved, especially when you lose staff here and there, business is expanding, you are shipping physical devices, or like something that is just in the cloud. Then we also look at your reproducibility. When you hear the word reproducible, it means that what you have done, if I should try to imitate the step-by-step process that you said you have done, will I get the same results? This happens a lot of time. Will I get the same result? Using all the parameters you have used. How have you handled error? I mean, is your code clear? These are things that people want to see in your portfolio as much as possible, what you are trying to showcase to us. Now, if we understand all this background, how do we begin to select a project to work on? I mean, how do we select a project to work on? I've put them into some do's and some don'ts. How do you select product to work on? I've put them into do's and don'ts. The first thing, I keep saying this over and over again. It's not because Bernard has said it, but over the years, we have discovered that the best way to prove that you are doing something is to use real-world data challenges, real-world data sets, real-world problems that we can relate to. In fact, or even better still, a problem or a situation that is ongoing. Can somebody tell me presently now, around us now, what do you think it's an ongoing challenge that we can get some data set from? Who can give me some examples?
Petroleum, Nigeria, petrol.
Petrol, okay. What kind of information, what kind of challenges are we going through at the moment?
Price instability.
Price instability. So how do you hope to get the data for this challenge I mentioned?
On this one, we can only get what's it called? Maybe from NBS, Nigeria Bureau of Statistics.
Okay.
And that will be secondary data for over some months now. Let's say from mid of this year to the present this month. We can see the fluctuations or within from the beginning of the year to this month. We can get an appreciable number of data that will be useful for analysis.
Okay. Okay. Somebody else wants to give us.
Sir, what about the rising cost of living?
Yeah, the rising cost of living, right?
Yes, if it's to identify a specific one, either rising the cost of foodstuff, even accommodation is rising now in most parts of the country.
So
but like the foodstuff one.
Good. So it means that we are talking about inflation generally.
Yes, sir.
So it means that we can begin to collect data sets. For example, now, if you're interested in this now, you can decide to pick major cities or state capitals and start looking at or different markets, look at the prices month on month. You can do it. Because it's not something you want to collect data for 1 week and 2. You can decide to collect your data for a period of 1 year. You can. You can decide you want to collect data for a period of 1 year. I want more. I mean, let's go. Let me share my screen. Let me see what is happening online. Let's see if you can see what is happening online. Let's look for where's my Internet Explorer. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me see. Let's see if we can. Let me stop sharing. Let me share my other screen. Okay. Don't have a browser there. There seems to be no browser open. Okay, I've seen. Okay. Okay, good. I'm going to share my screen now so that we can see what we're talking about now. Okay. Okay. So confirm if you can see this screen now. Good. So if I do
It's up.
okay, great. So okay, great. So this is my screen now. So let me go to Twitter, x.com. I'm going to go to x.com and let's see what is trending at the moment on x.com. Let me switch off my video. Okay, so this is X now. Are we together? Are we
Yes, sir.
together?
Yes, sir.
What is trending at the moment? What's trending at the moment now? Access in Nigeria, right? Why is Rivers State trending? Why is Rivers State trending? Why are they trending in Rivers State at the moment? Why are they trending?
Political
Because
problem.
I guess
the seizure of their location.
I think
Ah.
the federal government
allocation.
built
So, for example, now, Rivers State is trending now over the allocation, over the court cases, over whatever. So I can decide to work on these data sets and see what are people talking about Rivers State for. I can decide to do that. So it means that I will scrape the data on Twitter. So it means that I can copy each and every one of these tweets. Okay? I can copy them. So it means that there are so many ways you can do that. So you can, okay, I want to scrape tweets on X. There are so many ways you can go about that. I can go about that. Oh my God. This is my floating me. I don't like this guy. Okay. Scrape tweets on X. There's so many you can go about that. Where you can actually, all these Twitters, all these scripts, you can actually, all these tweets, you can actually scrape it. So that's, and before you know it, you are grabbing your data sets. Let me show you some of the tweets I've done in the past so I can have an idea what I'm talking about. Drive.google.com. Okay. Okay, let me search Sahara. Good. So at some point in time, I was scraping news from Sahara reporters. Can we see this? Is this viewable?
Yes.
yes,
Yes, sir.
yes,
We can
yes.
see it, sir.
So you can see it. You can see I was doing some tweets on Sahara reporters. So you can see that's data for you. I also did for Naira Land also some time ago. I did for Naira Land. Did for Naira Land. This is Naira Land. It's coming up. Is it not loaded yet? Open with sheets. And why are all my data not coming up? What's wrong with all of them? They don't want to come up. Land. You would have seen why this data not coming up. You would have seen what I'm talking about now. Land. Okay. Let me see if I'm able to open it from this. Okay, this one should open. This one should open. Because I would love you guys to see what I'm talking about. So they are not thinking it's just theory. I'm not thinking it's just to issue. Let me close all these guys. Okay, it's loaded. You see what I'm trying. So for this particular Netherlands now, we did some data scraping on Netherlands. We all know Netherlands, right? So we tried to scrape the data set on Netherlands as much as possible. I don't know why. Okay. Trending in Nigeria today. Okay, this is still Twitter. Most search person. A lot of things. So looking for your data sets, you have to be deliberate about it. Why is this guy not loading now? I think it's almost there. We have 86% now. Because if you don't see this data set, you will not appreciate what I'm actually talking about. As I want to take my time for this data set to load. Good. Yeah, it's loading. Good. Now look at this data set now. Look at this data set now. Can you see the title of the news? Are we together? The link, the posts, the full body of the post, who posted it, number of people who saw it. Can you see that? Are we together at all?
No. No, we can't see that, sir. It's only
We
the
can't
Google
see the
screen that you see there.
Oh,
Okay. I was wondering, I was not seeing anybody speaking. Let us say show to Luleni. Okay, what about now?
Yes, it is up, sir.
So you can see it now. We've got the title of the news, the direct link, what's the post about, who posted it, so you can see all when it was posted, the time, the date, the year, the location, the gender of person that posted it. Looking at this data set now, this is about 5,691. So this is real life data set of various posts. So you can even see what are those things that people are interested in. If I look at this post now, let me look at this post. Let me sort it by the post with the highest views, number of views. Let's see, largest to smallest. No. Oh, sorry, use the wrong one. Number of custom sorts. Yeah. So let's see how So you can see, look at this post, 96,617 views. And what's the news all about? Kenyans are far behind Nigeria in every aspect. So by the time I generate this data set now, I can do all kinds of visuals. What kind of news Nigerians are interested in? A lot can happen in that space. That's just an example I just decided to show us, to tell you what it means to guarding your data set. Now, if you want to go through that route, just like somebody said earlier on, that if I should go to NBS, okay, if I should go to NBS, for example, NBS, right? This is NBS. So you can see this NBS now. So PMS, you can see even NBS is also trying to push data as much as you can see. Everybody's doing visuals. Did you see this now? You can see unemployment statistics, Q1 2024. So these are things that we are talking about. You can see everybody's trying to put visuals as much as possible. So of course, there will be so many data sets you can play with here. Now, look at some popular platforms, Open Data Portal, NSDP, Microdata, Health Atlas, Foreign Trade Monitor, so many of them. So this is Nigeria Data Portal now. So let's say I select a state. Let me select, not all of them I haven't listed. What happened? Akwa Ibom. Okay, let's say Kwara. Okay, to continue. This guy doesn't want to do okay. So there are so many data you can look around for. Macro data, demographic, a whole lot of data that you can look out for. You can see. So someone said, let's say tomato. I hope you have anything like tomato. I doubt you have anything called tomato. Oh, you can see agriculture. Tomato falls to that categories. So as much as possible, it's up to us to begin to look at what we're interested in, especially data that people have not really done much on. Look at this now. Reported cases. So a lot of this is actually health data. Someone will talk about education the other time. These are various platforms you can go and get data from. Right? Gania mentions another on the other time there. He said Kaggle. Kaggle. Kaggle is hosted by Google, right? Kaggle is hosted by Google. So let's see what's on Kaggle also. Let's see what's on Kaggle. There are so many of them. Many of them. So this is Kaggle, the largest AI and ML community. Let me sign in. We also have Zindi, Zindi.Africa. In fact, this is another very nice one because these guys deal with more of African data sets. But for Zindi, for Kaggle, Kaggle has to do with general data sets from all over the world. But for Zindi, is more of Africa-oriented data sets. Okay. So you can see for Zindi, so I can start looking for data sets to work with. Okay. Let's look for data sets. Let's look for data set on Kaggle. So if you want data set on education, you can see, Dr. Thomas, you are looking for student performance, student lifestyle.
Yes,
Can you see
sir.
that?
Yes, sir.
You do study, you can see so many things. You can see so many student sleep patterns, student health data. You can see so many data sets for you to play with. Look at this one, SAT. Student scores by year and gender, 1967 to 2001. So you have so many kind of data sets for you to play with as much as possible. Okay? As much as possible. Right? A whole lot of data sets is available there. You come to Kaggle, what happened? Kaggle said, oh, it's not authorized there. Let me sign to my Kaggle. So this is Kaggle.
Sir,
This is Kaggle.
you're on Zindi, sir.
Oh, sorry, this is Zindi. Yeah, this is Zindi. Thanks a lot. Yeah. This is Zindi now. So you also have they also have their own various data sets on Zindi too. Various data sets that you can also play with. Okay? That you can also play with as much as possible. There are so many platforms where you can get data set. You do a simple Google search. In fact, there's this popular one again. I'm trying to remember. Trying to remember. You can see there are so many of them. Just do a Google search and you'll be shocked the number of data sets available. You'll be shocked the number of data sets available for you to play with. A whole lot of data sets across different platforms. But don't, we'll get to that much later. Okay, so let's continue. Yeah, we have to do that serious okay. Confirm if you can see my screen, please.
Yes, it is up, sir.
It's
Yes, sir.
Presentation, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
yes.
Project
Project
selection.
selection.
Yeah. So focus on real world. That's what led us to exploring various data sets that is available. And you must be able to provide end-to-end solution. I mean, how you started with the data, what you hope to achieve, and what you have done eventually at the end of the day. All the process you took, all the step-by-steps that you took to work on that data set, you need to provide it for us. You need to make it available. Are we together? So what are those things that you should stay clear of? Avoid overused data sets. There are some data sets that they are so overused that, in fact, almost everybody has worked with it. Almost everybody has worked with it. Almost everybody that you can think of, they have worked with it. Avoid those kinds of data sets. That was, I said, Titanic, Iris,
John.
John. There are so many of them. There are just so many of them that people have, in fact, just so many of them, just avoid them. In fact, there was a time people also use the COVID-19. This is another one. Remember this housing data set, boasting.
Yes, house price prediction. I think.
You get so many of them. Just try and avoid those ones. There's another platform again. UCL. They also have something a lot of interesting data sets also. Let me see if I can dump them somewhere also on the chat or on the WhatsApp group. example on the WhatsApp group. Yeah, UCI. They've got a fantastic data set also as much as possible. So stay clear of tutorial-based projects. You don't present as if you are doing a tutorial for somebody. So there are so many of them online also that people have seen them several times. Don't just go and copy somebody's tutorial and start sharing with us. It's not the best. It's not the best. Okay, so let me move on. So what are those platforms for presentation? There are two modes. You can use GitHub, which is free, where you have people can see what you have been doing day to day, year to year, because there's a commit history there. People can see what you have done the last 1 year, 2 years. People can know when did you join GitHub and what you have been doing since you joined GitHub. These are possibilities that you can explore. There will be a session where we'll walk you through how to set up GitHub, how to make commits, how to do all those basic things expected of you using GitHub. They also have personal websites. Even if you cannot host your own domain, there are so many free sites where you can actually create something for yourself, around yourself, but at little or zero cost. There are so many of them. And if you can afford to have your own website branded with your name, it's not a bad idea either. It's a welcome idea also. So it depends on what you want to achieve, because that's where you got to host your portfolio. But for most people, they either use their GitHub or a personal website. For example, your personal website can be, let's say, www.aisha.com, www.hsj.com, www.joynodi.com. You could have things like, obasichinoye.ai or onotoye.ai, where you put all your portfolios, all the things you have done. We'll have a session where we walk through this together and so on, where everybody will also set up their own. And which, of course, the groups that you have created also, they're also part of the things we would have to expect to do on that group at the end of the day. So, the structure that your portfolio will follow will just be an overview, a general overview, introduction of the tools they are using, the project descriptions with link to documentation and the visuals that you have done. So for those projects, tell us what is the objective, the data set you have used. If it's a publicly available data set, you give us the link to that data set. Okay. And if it's a data set that you actually worked on that data set yourself, and if the data set has nothing to do with data protection, you can make it available on a publicly available link. All your process, your data cleaning process, and of course, what your final dashboard looks like. We want to see it. These are things that we actually want to see in your presentation, your portfolio. We're excited to see some of those things in your portfolio as much as possible. There is no small data set, especially if you were the one that generated that data set. There's no small data set. I can tell you that for free. There's no small data set. Most especially if you generated that data set by yourself. So, again, we try to know that the must-haves: end-to-end project execution, clean documentation, And of course, sometimes you are working on a project and you feel that there is a possibility for further studies, or just like people write academic papers, they will let us know, this is what I've done, but there's a plan to do some further studies in this direction. Those who are interested in doing a further study in this direction can, of course, look in this direction. You need to put those kind of information out there for people to be able to take your project to the next level. And of course, they will also make reference to you. And in fact, they can even kick off a conversation with you that, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, because of course, your contact is available on your portfolio. Yes, obviously, you can keep talking about this. Those projects you are talking about, what was the problem statement you are trying to solve? What is the impact? You know, like I keep telling us, the whole essence of all what I do is for the business decision making. There was a time in the University of Ibadan. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Department of Computer Science at the University of Ibadan. Before now, in the O-level subjects, chemistry was not compulsory. To study computer science, you don't have to take chemistry in your YF. All of a sudden, they make chemistry compulsory. In fact, people who had done a first degree and they were coming back for a master's program, they had to go and write another GCE and make sure they pass chemistry. Can anybody know what was responsible for that? What do you think was responsible for that? Why they made chemistry compulsory? What do you think would have been responsible for that?
Okay, let me guess. Maybe because rise of interdisciplinary in between courses.
Not really. Not really. Anybody else? Can take a try, but you can take a try. Can take a try. Anybody else? Let me just tell us what happened. While they made chemistry compulsory. They discovered that.
Could it be that they just want people who have pure science background?
No. 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 Not at all. Not at all. Now, this is what happened. They saw a pattern among students who had first class. They saw a pattern. They discovered that students who had A1 in chemistry, are you underlining this? Students who had A1 in chemistry, are we together?
Yes, sir.
Students who had A1 in chemistry, A1 in chemistry. Are you with me? They had A1 in chemistry. And they also attempted further maths. Further maths. Guess what happened to the students? Who can guess what happened to the students?
They are the first class students.
Yes. They are the first class students. Can you beat that?
You are correct, sir. We run away from chemistry most times.
So you can imagine, just look at what they were able to bring out from that data set. Just look at this. Those who had first class in computer science. over the years. Imagine doing this over a period of like 15 years. And you discover this. I mean, what else are you thinking of? So the best was for them to just do what? Make chemistry compulsory. So sometimes you don't even know what you see until those patterns start unveiling itself. There have been so many research in that space. In fact, there was this popular research also. Let me remember. There are two instances that a man got an email recommending a product for him in his email from his pharmacist. And that product we're recommending has to do with somebody who was pregnant, sort of. And the man was furious. I think upon further investigation, it was discovered that the man's daughter was pregnant at some point. And she went to the pharmacy to request for some drugs, using the details of the father's card or the address, something like that, or the account in the pharmacy shop. There are also instances of people who go to buy alcohol, and also they buy diapers. Why would you buy alcohol and diapers at the same time? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? You buy alcohol and diaper. Do they correlate? Are those two products the same things? Can anybody give us some insight into that? Anybody? Anybody?
It's so funny, sir. But let me just think, maybe he wants to use their alcohol as sanitizer before wearing diaper for the baby.
Dr. Akesho, you should be the best to respond to this, Dr. Akesho.
Sorry, what's the question again?
The question, why would anybody go and buy alcohol and also buy diapers, pampers?
Well, ordinarily, looking at it, one might think there's no relationship between the two things, because it is expected that anyone that is buying diaper must be a responsible individual at home, especially a male. So, and then buying alcohol as a social norm, we think anyone who is drinking is not, quote unquote anyway, that responsible. So we might not be able to connect the two in my own way, but there may be a relationship between the two.
Okay, let's do this way. Let's do fastest fingers. Are we all together?
Yeah, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, now, there was a research that was conducted some time ago where a store discovered that people who purchased diapers were also purchasing beer. And they discovered that this actually happens between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. That these customers who came to the shop will buy diapers and beer. I mean, people are able to, get out of this. Let me see if I can share. Let me see if I can share this.
Hi, everyone. Let me introduce.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, it sounds funny, but can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
What's showing on my screen?
Beer and
Bear and
diaper
diaper case study.
Cases.
To you my friend Harry, who is a speech robot. He will take us through the case study of beer and diaper today. I will also be asking some questions to him
So you can
then and there during this video.
I just go that house so that we can also look at it at our own spare time. That what could be responsible for that impact, but it's actually something that researchers are still trying to look at that data set again. At why would people? You can see you can imagine the kind of attention to details between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. People who buy beer also buy diapers. As for people who are married one of the products that once a husband gets to the house and that product is not available, that can really make a woman go mad. I'm sure diaper is one of it. True or false?
True, sir.
So imagine that maybe during the day, the wife has called him to send a message to him. There's no diapers at home. And this one wants to go and enjoy himself. You know, and well, let me just buy the pump. I don't know whether they will need or they will not need to. Let me just buy it, sha. Does it make sense?
It does, sir, but it can be the other way around again.
Okay, what's the other way around?
Okay. Maybe the woman is the one buying now. This man, before he starts disturbing me, let me give him the beer to keep him busy while I'm attending to the baby's diaper.
Anyway, since they have not told us the gender that is buying, so it's both ways, really. You know, so that's
in my opinion about the diaper and the estate. I feel like because it's evening time, that's around the time that people usually are prone to drinking. And then I feel like the people might be frustrated too, maybe with the rising prices of things, and maybe the person has got to work for money previously, and then you have to buy diapers every single day for like 3 years for a child. So all the combination of all those factors might just make the person usually drink. And then people who sell can be actually funny because they would group things that those kind of things together. They'll place alcohol near diapers so that when they come and they know that all those factors will be at work, they'll just pick alcohol. This is also close by to them as well.
excellent. So we can see that a lot happens from data set. A lot happens there. Really a lot. Okay, Aisha, who spoke now?
Yes, sir. I did, sir.
Okay. So you can see that a lot is actually happening. And that's why this field is a very special field. Look at the US election that just concluded. A lot of data visuals were just shared. A lot, because our world today now, we are generating a lot of data. Data sets. We are generating a lot of data. So people are also mining this data, looking for patterns that help their own business. That's the truth. People are looking for data that will help their own businesses. And that's why the need to pay attention to details matter in this domain. It's very important. The need to pay attention to details, it's very, very important. I'll be so much interested in Dr. Thomas' research in education, because there's a lot of that. I just heard about another concept now. You know, normally, when we talk about truancy, we refer to students, right? Students who don't come to class regularly, who don't come to school regularly. Is that not so? Now, what about teachers also? Teachers who don't show up in class regularly, teachers who are always out of town. That's another research area that you can easily get data from students. So let's move on, because our time is actually fast spent. Looking at technical features. Like I told you, your code must be clean. It must be, so if I download your code, for example, now, and I want to try it on your data set, I must not get any results once I follow your steps. I must not. You know, and whatever you have done so far, there must be validation. And I can also test with a data set that does not exist in your own data set before now. To actually test what you have done so far, so good. This is very, very important. So, final advice. Just like we all have our passion or we have our domain knowledge, while you are working on your portfolio, it's important that you are at least consistent. If you are targeting a specific industry, let your portfolio, your projects, let it be in that direction of that industry. You can have one or two industry or three, but not that you are doing health today, you are doing agriculture tomorrow, you are doing policies next tomorrow, you are doing this, you are doing that. It's not the best. You need to be consistent. You need to be consistent so that people look in this direction, they know, this is what this guy does now. Once your name is mentioned, people are able to place your name with a particular domain or a particular sector. That's the concept, not just haphazardly. Am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
Then we need to, as much as possible, keep our portfolio updated regularly. As much as possible. You need to keep your portfolio updated regularly. It's important. Keep your portfolio updated regularly. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Keep your portfolio updated regularly. As you are doing more new things, there's no time. Once your new project is ready, don't be there.
Wow. Wow.
Now, there's another important thing. So people will tell, I have this certificate in this, I have this certificate in this, I've done this course in this. There's no portfolio to validate. There's no project or no hands-on to validate those certificates. It's important. Any certificate you are acquiring, you must have a way to also showcase to us what you have done so far, so good. You should have a way to also showcase to us. It's important. So that we're able to showcase these skills, not just branding certificates to our face, which is what we are suffering from in Nigeria. People have so many certificates. People have published so many research articles. There's no impact in society. Because we are just certificate crazy in this part of the world. That there's nothing to show for this certificate that we are branding. Everybody wants to go to university to go and get a degree, even a degree that they will never use. But we just want to get it. But there's no way we can, I don't think there's anything we can do about it for now. So, while you prepare your resume, don't forget, place the link to your portfolio somewhere that is accessible so that if anybody picks up your resume, they can always go to your portfolio. Make sure those projects that are high quality are the ones you put in your portfolio, not just your regular practice here and there. High quality projects. And also avoid incomplete projects. And just so overuse data sets. Avoid them as much as possible. Avoid them as much as possible. Overuse data sets, incomplete. Please avoid them as much as possible. Okay, so let me go back to our group discussion that we're on before now. Yes, let's go back to our group discussion that we're on before now. Okay, so, oh, I love this question. How do one know a data set has been overused? Oh, I want Ghania to answer this question. Ghania, there's a question. How do one know a data set that has been overused?
Okay. All right. I didn't really like have a specific answer to it, but I can say like there is this pattern I normally notice. I do use Kaggle, like I go to Kaggle a lot. So you kind of, I think you kind of see like how many people like have actually like contributed on that data set. I think they do specify. So number of people have like kind of done something on this data, or you can just see number of downloads or number of, I think there's something like that on Kaggle. I don't know. Am I on point, sir?
Yeah. So. Okay. I want to share this link on the web, on the chat. There are some platforms where you can actually see data set that has been overused, especially benchmark sites where the benchmark data sets. An example is OpenML. So if you go to OpenML, for example, let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is OpenML, for example, now. Let me try and search for iris. Aha. Can you see this? Can you see this? Huh? Can
Yes,
you see
sir.
this?
Yes, sir.
What is it? This is just an example. 50, close to 8,000. So you can always search for them as much as possible. MS MNIST 455. Look at this, 34. Look at the fashion MNIST is not really used. The fashion MNIST is not really used. But there's so many of them that you can actually, just like Ghanaian said, Kaggle. If I go to Kaggle, don't mind my Google search engine is defaulted to ChatGPT. If I do a search on Google, if I do a search on my browser, it goes to ChatGPT instead of going to a browser. Okay. So you can see some of these data sets. I can try and see. Definitely, you can always see those who the counts as much as possible. As much as possible. You can always see the counts as much as possible. They always put it there. Okay? That's for overused data sets. But for you want to create your own. Also, you can look at literature reviews also. When you go to literature reviews also, you will see, if I do scholar.google now, let me do scholar.google. And let me type iris. Can you see this now? Look at this. How many results is this? How many results is this?
Over 4 million. Am I seeing right?
Let me The IBs can mean many. Look at this now. This is data set now. For data set, people have used IBs as in 371,000 times. So that's why sometimes as a student, when you are doing your research, when you are making your presentation and you mention the data set, your lecturers will tell you, no, madam, that data set has been overused now. You get don't you get those kind of feedback sometimes? No, that data set has been overused now several times. Let me see student performance data set. Of course, anything student performance is also a project that is so popular. Are we together?
Yes, sir. 1 minute, sir.
Okay.
Can we say those popular topics or those ones that are very, very popular, there is high probability that there will be an overused data, sir?
Of course now. It's obvious. Now, in the work, for example, if you do things around essay grading, let's see some essay grading. My student, let's essay grading data set. Let me see if I can see. You can see for essay grade the result is far low, right? Is that not so? Compared to the others, because there's still a lot of challenges in grading essays. Is that not true?
Yes, sir.
There's still a lot of challenges when it comes to let me look for Nigeria data set, Nigeria political data sets. Don't mind me, just being funny. What did you see?
People are not even interested in it.
That is the thing. That's the thing. So God will help us. You know, so a lot is happening in that space as much as possible. So for the groups that we have formed before the end of the day or weekend. Raman, yes?
I have a question. Hey,
Go ahead.
sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you talked about scraping the data sets online the other time. Like, can you explain how to do that? Because what do you say?
I can no, sorry, I can hear you. Continue.
I said you talked about scraping data set online instead of downloading data. How can we do that?
Yes, thank you so much. Depending on the kind of data you want to scrape online, there are so many tools that are available for scraping data sets online. There are so many of them, depending on what kind of data you are scraping. First, all the websites that you are talking about, they must have stored their data in one format or the other. For example, now, for Twitter now, we all know that for Twitter, we use Twitter API to scrape Twitter data. Is that not so? For other web data, we have tools like Beautiful Soup, which is good for data scraping. That can help you to scrape data from websites, especially data that are scattered around on the website. It can help you to scrape it. We also have Octopus. There are so many of them. We also have people whose specialty is to help people to scrape their data and they collect a fee. So it depends. So it depends on the kind of data you are trying to scrape. Even for Power BI, you can even use Power BI to connect to the web and also download data. I hope you know that also. Even for Excel, you can use Excel to connect to a website and also download data. But be careful though, when you are scraping data. Some people have some of this data protection regulation with regards to scraping data, but just make sure that you read all the regulations guiding the platform that you want to scrape data from. Some sites you can easily scrape data, easily just that. For some sites you need to look for advanced tools to help you. For example, now look at the Nairaland data that we scrape. For that data set, we have to write a programming language. We have to write a code in Python, and we're running this code for over 1 month because we're scraping data set for about 10 years data sets, such that at the end of the day, if I show you what Nairaland looks like now, let's look at Nairaland. Let's look at Nairaland. And see what Nairaland looks like. So you'll be able to appreciate what I'm talking about when it comes to scraping data. But if you don't understand, if you don't have that understanding about it, now this is Nairaland now. Are we together? Now, what is this? What did I highlight?
Members, number of members.
Number of members. No, number of topics. Members is here. This is members here. So you can see they have posted 8,010,000 topics.
10,852.
So you can imagine. So imagine, let's say I go to session on let's say car talk. Let's say car talk. Let's say I go to session on car talk, for example, now. So you can see, just on car talk alone, there are 864 pages on car talk alone. So now imagine on each page, how many topics on each page? Just so that. So imagine if I have to do this manually. So for each page alone, like can you imagine? And I want to pick, let me pick for example now, tell us your car fault. Now look at this now, for example now. This is the topic, right? This is the guy that posted it. This is the time. You know, this is the date. This is the detail. So now if I want to do this manually, Edo, are you sure I will not do anything again in my life? So I need to write some codes that will enable me to get this done as quickly as possible. So that's the concept that we have been talking about here. Is that clear enough?
Yes,
right?
sir.
So like I told us, we will definitely put the other information that we need across to us regarding how we are going to go about the group task and group assignments. So this is a convenient place for me to end this session. Thanks a lot. Okay, so for some people that joined, that didn't join early for us, yeah.